Okay. Hello, everyone. So, this is, I believe, part 3 of this exam review for college algebra. So we had stopped on number 24, and now we are doing number 25. Okay. Yeah, so, number 25, and give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so number 25 says, solve the equation, and it says square root of 2t minus 1 equals 2 for t. Also, this is a short answer, the short answer portion or the free response portion of the exam. So yeah, just so everyone keeps that in mind. Okay, so it says solve the equation the square root of 2t minus 1 equals 2 for t. Be sure to check for extraneous solutions. Okay, so what we're going to do first in this one is we're going to go ahead and square both sides. And we get, obviously when we square it, we get rid of the square root. So we get 2t minus 1 equals 2 squared. And 2 squared is 4, so we have 2t minus 1 equals 4. And now we go ahead and add 1 to both sides. And we have 2t equals 5. So then we divide both sides by 2 and we get t equals 5 halves. Okay. Now we want to go ahead and check it. So we have the square root of 2 times 5 halves minus 1. Is that equal to 2, right? So we have, this cancels out and we get the square root of 5 minus 1 equals 2, which is the square root of 4 equals 2, and 2 equals 2. So this is a solution. So the solution is t equals 5 halves. Okay. All right. Number 26, it says, given the equation of a circle, x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 4y minus 4 equals 0, it says find the center and the radius of the circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rewrite the equation. So we have x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 4y, and then minus 4 equals 0. And we're going to go ahead and add 4 to both sides, right? So then we have x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 4y equals 4. Now, you want two numbers. So basically, you want two perfect square binomials, x squared, and then you have x squared minus 2x plus something plus x squared, or sorry, y squared minus 4y plus something equals 4, and then you're going to go ahead and whatever you solve for your third term for each one, you're going to go ahead and add it to both of them. So let's say this is c1 and this is c2. So you're going to say 4 plus c1 plus c2, right? So you're going to, so basically to solve for c, you have c equals b over 2 quantity squared, and that's c equals, and it's going to be negative 2 over 2 quantity squared, right? This is negative 1 squared, which is 1, right? So c equals 1. That's for c1, so we have x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus, and then we have y squared minus 4y plus c2 equals 4 plus 1 plus c2. So basically we have x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus y squared minus 4y plus c2 equals 5 plus c2. So we have to do the other one. You have to do it again for the y term. So we know that c equals b over 2 quantity squared, and for our b value we have negative 4, so we're going to say c equals negative 4 over 2 quantity squared, and we have c equals -2 squared, which is 4, right? So therefore, we're going to have x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus y squared minus 4y plus 4 equals 5 plus 4. Because we want to go ahead and add whatever our c value is for our for the variable, right? All right, so then this means that we have x squared minus 2x plus 1 times y squared minus 4y plus 4 plus equals 9. And if you want, you can go ahead and factor both of them. We know that this is a perfect square trinomial, so we can say that this is equal to 1 and then it's -2. So two numbers that multiply to 1 and add to -2 are -1 and -1. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Okay, so this one, okay, so we would factor this out, and it would be, so because the leading coefficient is 1, we don't really have to do the box method. It would just be x minus 1 squared here, because it would be x minus 1 times x minus 1. So this would be x minus 1 squared, right? And then plus, and then it would be, so then we would do the same thing for the other one, for the y value, right? It would be, so 1 times 4 is 4, and then we have -4. So then two numbers that multiply to 4 and add to -4 are -2 and -2. So it'd be y minus 2 times y minus 2. So then it would be y minus 2 quantity squared equals 9. So the answer to this one would be this. Oh wait, actually, and then the radius, so basically the radius would be 3, because we have 3 squared, right? 9 is 3 squared. So basically we have x minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 3 squared, and this is the radius, so the radius is 3, and the center is HK, so it's 1, 2. This is the center, right? So that's basically what the problem is asking us to find. Okay, it says find the equation of the line and slope intercept form that passes through the center of the circle and the point 1, 2. So the center of the circle is 1, 2. This one's a little tricky, actually. So, interesting. It passes through the center of the circle and the point 1, 2. That's interesting, because in reality, if we have something like that, so let's see, hold on guys, give me a second. Okay, so this is a little interesting. I mean, I don't think that, so in reality, I don't think that for this one, there's such an equation where, I mean, it can be a lot of things. I feel like one of the things that, because honestly, it's saying that it only passes through that point in the circle. Like only that point. It cannot pass any other point in the circle. So, but the problem with that is that I'm not sure about this one. This one's a little bit weird. I don't think there's an equation that only passes through that point unless, because the center is 1, 2, right? And, yeah, it is 1, 2. So it's a little bit tricky, because we have 4, and then it would be 4. We got 4 plus 1, and then we have plus C2, which was negative 4 over 4. I believe it was negative 4 over 2 quantity squared, which was 4. And then it would be 5 plus 4. That's 9. So the center is 1, 2. Let's see. And the radius is 3. And then it's saying to find a slope of the line, or the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that passes through 1, 2. That passes through the center of the circle and the point 1, 2. But the point 1, 2, that's the thing. It's the center of the circle. So this one's kind of weird. I'm not sure about this one. Given f of x equals x squared minus x plus 4, and then it says find the difference quotient. So there was a problem that I did in the previous video where I did one of these because, of course, this is something that they actually make you do. So this is 27. This is for parts A and B. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to plug in. So first you're going to find f of x plus h. This means it's going to be x plus h squared minus the quantity x plus h plus 4. So it's going to be, you do FOIL method with this, you were going to get x squared plus 2xh plus h squared, and then minus x minus h plus 4. And then f of x is just what we ended up with, or what we have here. So it would be, so if we do f of x plus h minus f of x all over h, this is going to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x minus h plus 4. And then you do this, and then you do minus whatever f of x is, so it's x squared minus x plus 4, right? And you want to make sure you put it in parentheses. And then from there, you're going to put it all over h, and then you say x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x minus h plus 4 minus x squared plus x minus 4. So now you look for you combine like terms. So there's an x squared and the negative x squared. There's a negative x and a positive x. And then there is a positive 4 and a negative 4. So these all cancel out, basically. So now you want to go ahead and do all over h, and from there you have 2xh plus h squared minus h, right? all over h. So then from there, you're going to go ahead and factor the h out. Let me make sure that I am recording. Okay. Okay. So it says h. So you're going to factor h out. You're going to say h times 2x plus h minus 1 all over h. You then cancel this out and you get 2x plus h minus 1 as your answer. And that is how you do it. Okay. And like I said, this is very important for calculus. You do these in calculus like a lot. So it's very important that we understand how it is. Okay, so if f of x equals -2, what are the values of x? So basically we can say, okay, so f of x equals x squared minus x plus 4, right? Oops. So and it's saying this is f of x, right? And we want to make it equal to -2. So it's wanting to find the values of x, right? What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides, and you're going to get x squared, because you want to set it equal to 0, x squared minus x plus 6 equals 0. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. Number 1, you can use the quadratic formula, or number 2, you can factor. So if we factor, we do 1 times 6, so 8 times c, 1 times 6 is 6, and we get -1. Now, 2 numbers that multiply to 6 and add to -1 are -3. Or rather, hold on, give me 1 second. So it would be, okay, so this one's interesting. Because I don't think that there are 2 numbers. Let me go ahead and check very quickly. X squared minus x plus 6. Okay. Now, you're going to have to use a quadratic formula for this one. Okay? Because obviously we cannot factor. You can also do by completing a square, but that's going to be very difficult. The one that I really recommend that a lot of people do, unless they tell you to solve by factoring or to solve by completing the square, then that's fine. But one of the best ways to solve a quadratic is by the quadratic formula. Now, if I say x squared minus x plus 4 equals -2, I can go ahead and add 2 to both sides. I get x squared minus x plus 6 equals 0, and I can use the quadratic formula. Because ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, I can say that a equals 1, b equals -2, and c equals 6. Now the quadratic formula says the following. X equals -b plus or minus the square root of the quantity b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I highly recommend that you guys remember that. Unless they give it to you on the exam, then that's fine. But sometimes some professors or some teachers are not that nice. So I really do recommend that you guys remember this one if your professor doesn't give it to you. So you have x equals so we get negative of -2 because b value is -2 plus or minus the square root of -2 quantity squared minus 4 times 1 times 6 all over 2 times 1. Now we go ahead and simplify this. Negative of -2 is 2 plus or minus the square root, and then we have negative 2 squared, that's 4, minus 4 times 6 over 2, right? And then we get 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 24 over 2, which is 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 20 over 2, which is 2 plus or minus, and we want to go ahead and take the I out. So basically, the square root of negative 1 is I, so we have I times the square root of 20 over 2, and the square root of 20 is equal to the square root of 4 times 5, which is equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. So we get that this is equal to 2 plus or minus, it's going to be plus or minus 2I square root 5 over 2. And we can go ahead and take, we can factor out the 2. So we have 2 times the quantity 1 plus or minus I square root 5 all over 2. And this will be 1 plus or minus the square root, or 1 plus or minus I square root 5. Now, you want to say that x equals 1 plus I square root 5 and x equals 1 minus I square root 5. These are your solutions. Okay. To this equation. All right. Okay. So we still have about a few more minutes left. So for the following function, state the transformations and sketch the graph. You may change the scale on the graph provided if necessary. Label at least 3 important points on your graph. Okay. Obviously, we can go ahead and just put this as 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, and do 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Same for this part, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So, to graph this one, and let's see how much time we have left. Oops. Okay, so we have a few more minutes left. All right, so to graph this one, it says to state the transformation. Now, I don't know what these parts represent, but basically, or the parts where it says 1, 2, and 3, but I do know that I can say, well, maybe I can put them here. So the transformation from f of x equals the absolute value of x to g of x equals negative 2 times the absolute value of x minus 3 plus 1. So I can say that this is a vertical stretch by a factor of 2, followed by a reflection in the, it's going to be, if I have, so this basically is negative, so if I have f of x equals to the absolute value of x, then that means that negative f of x will be negative 2, my bad, negative 2 times the absolute value of x. So this represents a reflection in the x-axis, because negative f of x is basically negative y, and then followed by a translation 3 units right and 1 unit up. Okay, so we can say that this, and let me take this off very quickly. So the vertex here, since we have a times the absolute value of x minus h plus k, we can say that the vertex is 3, 1, right? So right here. And our a value is -2. That's our slope, okay? So, however, one of the things I want to mention is that there is an axis of symmetry at x equals h. So you have to be mindful of that. Meaning that, so basically if you do the slope on the right side, you're just going to reflect those points across this line here, x equals negative, or x equals 3, right? Because this is your axis of symmetry. So you're gonna do 1, 2, 1, right? And you're gonna do it again, 1, 2, 1, right here. And now you're gonna reflect those points. You're gonna say, this is reflected, so it's 1, and then it's 1 again right here. And then it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, right here. So now you want to go ahead and draw a upside down V shape. So basically trace the line between those points. Oh, and almost forgot. Okay. And then over here, so like this. And this is your answer. This is how you would graph it, right? Okay. Let's see, how much did I do in this video? Okay. Let me just go ahead and do a few more of these. So let me go ahead and check very quickly how much I did. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one very quickly. This last one where we have to graph this piecewise function, and then this will be it for the other video, or for this video, excuse me. So let me go ahead and let me go ahead and do this very quickly. So we have this piecewise defined function, and we want to go ahead and graph it, right? So our how do I say this? Our basically we have from -1 to 6, but so basically I can do, since I don't have 6 points here on my x-axis, I can do -2, -4, -6, -8, and then I do 2, 4, 6, 8, and basically, so I can say that it says if -1 is less than or equal to x is less than 2, so basically I say, if I evaluate at -1, I use this first equation. I say 2 times -1 minus 4. This is -2 minus 4. This is -6. So I'm going to do -2, -4, -6, -8, etc. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. And so basically, when I do -1, for example, when I do -1, I come up with -6, right? So it would be like right here. And then if I do 0, that would be -4. So at 0, at x equals 0, y equals -4. And then at x equals 1, y equals -2. So I would do it right here. And then at x equals 2, now at x equals 2, basically y would be undefined, because there's going to be an open circle at x equals 2, right? Because it's not going to be defined. That's why there's a less than and not a less than or equal to. So when it's less than, that means there's going to be like an open circle. So we would say 2 times 2 minus 4, and it's going to look something like this, right? And then it says that it's then equal to -3 for 2 less than or equal to x less than 6. So basically it's something, when x equals 2, y equals -3. And then it'll just keep going. But at x equals 6, that's where it will be undefined. So to trace this properly, what you would do is you would just go ahead and let me actually, okay. You would actually go ahead and do this. So basically you do something like this, and then you would do something along the lines of this, right? So that's kind of how you would graph it. And I would not go like all the way, because honestly, it's only from -1, because this is -1 to 2, and then it goes from 2 to 6. It cannot go even further or even more back or more negative. So yeah, that's how you would do that one. Let me see how much. Okay, so yeah, guys, this concludes this part of the video. I know that, you know, basically there are still a few more problems left, but I'm hoping that I can finish them by the next video. But yeah, with that being said, guys, I hope this video helps, and I know that I kind of went a little bit, I explained a lot, but I hope that this video helps, and please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.